I have a phone. Not anymore. You don't. Poof. We all struggle with it, scrolling, on our smartphones, in bed, at work, even when we're supposed to be paying attention to the people around us. No matter where we are, we bring our phones with us. They're in our pockets, on our desks, next to our beds, and eventually we end up scrolling, sometimes for hours, sometimes without even thinking about it. And most of us want to stop. But here's the kicker. We can't. Not really. Even when we know it's bad for our mental health, even when we tell ourselves, just 5 minutes, those 5 minutes somehow stretch into half an hour, maybe more. Why? Because our devices are designed to exploit one very human weakness, anxiety. It starts small. A notification pops up. Maybe it's a ding from your email. Maybe it's a message on WhatsApp. Maybe it's a new YouTube video. You don't know what it is. Could be good news. Your paycheck just hit your account. Could be bad news. Your mom texting about something serious. Until you check, you're uncertain. And humans hate uncertainty. We have an almost instinctive need to resolve it. That little ping is a mini alarm bell in our brain. A hint that something important could be happening. So, what do? You pick up your phone, you check. Oh, it was just a like on Instagram or a YouTube recommendation. Nothing serious. You put it down, and then a few minutes later, another notification. Maybe a comment, maybe a news alert, and you check again, and again, and again. This isn't just a random habit, it's a full-blown vicious cycle. Your phone exploits your anxiety to grab your attention. Every notification adds a tiny bit of uncertainty to your day. Every scroll, every refresh, every click is like giving your brain a tiny jolt of something. Relief, excitement, or just a little dopamine hit. It doesn't matter, it keeps you coming back. And here's the worst part. The more you use your phone, the more anxious you actually get. Which means that next notification hits harder. That little spike of tension makes it almost impossible to resist. So you scroll more, check more, refresh more, and the cycle feeds itself. Think about it. Preemptively checking your email, your social media, your messages, you don't even wait for notifications anymore. Your brain is trained to anticipate uncertainty, to chase that tiny bit of relief. And every time you do, you reinforce the pattern. You're not just scrolling because you like it. You're scrolling because your brain has learned that scrolling is how you deal with anxiety. It's exhausting, invisible, and yet normal. Because everyone else is doing it too. Everyone around you is scrolling. Everyone around you is hooked. And suddenly, resisting it feels almost impossible. In her book Generations, Jean Twenge digs into the numbers and paints a pretty grim picture. Smartphones and social media aren't just distracting. They're linked to a real degradation of mental health. Young people today report almost double the dissatisfaction compared to 2012. That's not a small jump. Fewer say they enjoy life. Fewer feel useful or like they're contributing to the world in a meaningful way. And yes, most of these numbers come from pre-COVID-19, before the pandemic shook everyone's routines. The correlation is strong. Twenge argues there's a causal role here. More phone time, more social media, more anxiety, more dissatisfaction. It's not that social media alone is responsible for every sad thought, every anxious night, but it's a significant driver, a major factor. Something that's reshaping the mental landscape of a generation. And it's not just about anxiety. There's dopamine too. Every time you check YouTube, scroll through Instagram, peek at your email, you get a tiny hit of pleasure, a rush, dopamine. That little chemical signal says, hey, pay attention, this feels good. And your brain, it wants more. It wants another hit, and another, and another. Humans don't like boredom, it's uncomfortable. So when life feels even a little dull, we reach for our phones. The pull is automatic. Infinite scrolling isn't just convenient, it becomes the default form of entertainment. Your brain is wired to seek stimulation, and the tech companies know it. Their algorithmic environments are designed to keep you hooked, to tailor content that keeps your attention for as long as possible. Endless feeds, endless videos, endless distraction. Some people describe this as dopamine addiction. Others turn to trends like dopamine fasting or stimulation fasts. The extreme versions, avoiding phones, food, even walking down busy streets, anything that provides pleasure or stimulation. But here's the truth. Dopamine fasting doesn't magically reset your dopamine levels. It's not some mental reset button. What it really does is something much simpler. Habit formation. It's training your brain. You're learning to take less pleasure from certain things and more pleasure from others. Your phone, your social media, YouTube, Instagram, they're training your brain too. Every scroll reinforces the habit of seeking pleasure there. It's not evil. It's just how habit and pleasure work. But it explains why, even when you know it's making you anxious, frustrated, or dissatisfied, you keep going back. And let's be honest, scrolling is fun. Really fun. Watching YouTube videos, checking TikTok, seeing what your friends are up to on Instagram or Snapchat, even just mindlessly flipping through feeds can be oddly satisfying. That little burst of pleasure, the dopamine hit, is real. It's immediate. It's effortless. And that pleasure alone explains a lot. You keep scrolling because it feels good. No complicated science, no pseudo explanations required. You do it because you like it. But here's the kicker. It's not all sunshine and smiles. Scrolling taps into anger, frustration, and outrage too. Platforms know this. They prioritize content that triggers strong emotional reactions, controversy, drama, negative valence, something that makes you mad, shocked, or scandalized. Anger generates clicks. Clicks generate engagement. Engagement generates revenue. That post that made you scream at your screen, that was no accident. The algorithms nudged it to you because they know it will keep you glued. And yes, you might think you're in control of what you watch, but the reality is, the system is subtly guiding you toward what maximizes your attention and keeps you angry. And here's where it gets even trickier. The more you watch, the more complacent you become. A term for this is algorithmic complacency. We start off curious, but over time, we rely more and more on our devices to entertain us, to keep us informed, even to help us think. Phones become our tools, not just for fun, but for information access, problem solving, and daily tasks. But here's the catch. These tools are too frictionless. They're designed to make everything easy, effortless, instant. And the easier they are, the more dependent we become. Every time we outsource a task, looking something up, checking a fact, finding entertainment, we lose a tiny bit of our agency, a little bit of our self-control, a little bit of our independence. So, if you're wondering why you can't stop scrolling, here's the honest answer. It's complicated. Your phone is fun, it's pleasurable, it exploits your anxiety, it nudges your anger, and over time, you've become dependent on it for almost everything. Which means, yes, you probably will keep scrolling, at least until you consciously decide to take back some control, set boundaries, rethink notifications, or take a deliberate break from the infinite scrolling. And here's the part you've been waiting for. If you found this explanation helpful, or even just slightly comforting, do us a favor. Subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the bell for more insights like this. Because understanding why we scroll might just be the first step toward finally stopping.